you don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion new single, my hater, the big better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million, the devil, that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the first part of What If Naruto Joins Digimon World. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of KitsuneDragon on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. A young boy, around 13 years of age and stood at height of 5 feet, 4 inches, walked through the streets of Konoha with a backpack hung across his back. He had tan skin. On his face were 3 markings on each cheek that would remind one of whiskers, like that of a cat or fox. On the boy's head, wild, spiky blonde hair that jutted out in all directions like a wild storm of gold. Sapphire blue eyes that once shone like crystal dulled down to show a mix of emotion. Hate, anger, grief, and sorrow. He wore a pair of orange pants with a dark blue shirt which was fully covered by a matching orange jacket. A pair of dark blue sandals donned his feet and a necklace made with a leather cord was wrapped around his neck. A green crystal that shone in the sunlight was what made said necklace stand out. This was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, former shinobi of Konohagakure no Sado. Naruto stopped at the main gate of Konoha and looked to see the large crowd that had gathered to see him leave. Most were smiling in joyous glee as they watched the blonde about to leave the village, while only a select few, the ones that he could call friends, were filled with distress and sadness towards his current predicament. Naruto sighed as he remembered the earlier events that transpired yesterday afternoon. Flashback. A large crowd had gathered in front of the main gate of Konohagakure no Sado because they had heard from a shinobi scout earlier that the squad that was sent to retrieve the traitor Sasuke. Of course, not many saw him as such, from going to the village of Otagakure to join Orochimaru. Everyone watched and gasped at what they saw. They saw 2 figures. One was walking while the other seemed to be supported on the other figure's shoulders as the walking towards the gates. One wore an orange jacket over a dark blue t-shirt and orange pants, a weapons pouch attached behind him on his waist with blue ninja sandals, a Konoha highlight tied around his forehead, and had wild blonde hair that spiked up in every direction. The second was a black-haired boy, the hair looking like that of a chicken's ass, who wore a blue t-shirt with the back having a small red and white fan imprinted on the back of it and a weapons pouch on his left thigh. White pants and blue ninja sandals completed the boy's outfit. These were Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke. The crowd immediately went into an uproar as they saw the scene. Both boys were coated in red liquid. Blood. A pink-haired girl with emerald green eyes and a red dress, eyes wide with fear and shock at the scene, stood at the front of the roaring crowd. 2 other girls stood with her, a platinum blonde with sky blue eyes that wore a purple tank top and skirt. The second being a pale eyes girl, the eyes of a Hyuga, with bluish black hair and wore a tan jacket and short navy blue pants. Both girls wore ninja sandals that were blue and had weapons pouches on their right thighs. As Naruto walked through the gates of Konoha, the blonde boy gasped in exhaustion and fell to his knees before gently resting the barely alive Sasuke on the ground next to him. Sakura ran up to them and knelt on the ground by Sasuke's unconscious form. Naruto showed his foxy grin to Sakura's trembling form. "Don't worry, Sakura-chan, he's only unconscious. I kept my promise," Naruto said with pride. However, that was ruined as Sakura turned and glared at Naruto before slapping him hard in the face that caused silence to form among the throng that watched the scene. The sound of the slap echoing for a while. "I asked you to bring Sasuke-kun back healthy and well, not barely alive. You could have killed him. The one time I trust you to do something and you mess it up just like you always do. I hate you. You demon." Sakura yelled before focusing back on Sasuke. Naruto recoiled from the words, especially when he heard the words demon. Ino and Hinata were shocked at Sakura's behavior. The 2 walked up to the pink-haired girl and looked down at her with wide eyes. "Sakura, sure, Naruto beat up Sasuke-kun, but it was for the good of the mission, to help bring him back. I mean, sure, it's Naruto, but not even he deserves what you just said," Ino said. Sakura turned and glared at Ino and Hinata. "Ino, he hurt Sasuke-kun, he needs to be punished for hurting him," Sakura said. The crowd behind the girls heard this and yelled in agreement. Hinata's eyes widened before seeing the villagers grab various weapons that they had on hand like knives, shovels, kunai and other things. Ino and Hinata watched in shock at the villagers before looking at Naruto, who looked like his soul had been ripped from his body, and he was now a motionless puppet on the ground. Hinata stood in front of Naruto and got into the Juken fighting stance and her Byakugan blazed. I will not let you hurt Naruto-kun, she said in a firm voice. The demon has brainwashed the Hyuga heiress. We'll have to punish him even more and have to kill the girl too, a villager yelled. Ino looked in shock at what was happening and she quickly ran to go tell Tsunade. But she didn't need to because the area was suddenly filled with killing intent, all coming from one angry goddamn homage, Tsunade Senju. What the F is going on here? She yelled. Hokage-sama, the demon has brainwashed. The man didn't get to finish before Tsunade punched him in the skull, sending him into the crowd and knocking back the mob. Tsunade then turned and looked at Sakura before grabbing her by the throat. You dare insult my shinobi. If memory serves, it's because of Naruto I was here as your Hokage. I could kill you right now, Tsunade said as she applied pressure, causing Sakura to become blue in the face. But I won't. But this may serve as a warning to all of you. Tsunade roared before throwing Sakura down and then causing the girl to bounce back up into the air from the recoil force before punching Sakura in the face and sending her nearly halfway across the village. Tsunade then picked up Naruto and carried him to the hospital along with Sasuke. Hokage's office. Tsunade was angry about what happened during the earlier transgressions in the streets, but now she was downright pissed off because of what she and Jiraiya, who had joined the meeting, heard. You want to what? Tsunade and Jiraiya yelled. We have decided. We the elders and the civilian council have decided that Naruto Uzumaki is to be banished for injuring a fellow Konoha shinobi, Koharu said. What? That was the mission, and I specifically said that extreme force could be used if necessary, and from what I've heard from Shikamaru Nara, the team leader of the mission, Sasuke used the level 2 of the curse seal mark. Tsunade said, true, but Shikamaru also told us about the situation in which he had seen Naruto's using the Kyuubi's chakra during the battle, and he is now proven dangerous from what we have seen of the Uchiha's body at the hospital, Hamura said. What the F? The boy should be rewarded for bringing back your precious Uchiha and instead you banish him. Jiraiya yelled. It's the best course of action, Danzo, the one-eyed warhawk said. Jiraiya growled. That boy is not who you think he is. In fact, he is not even a he. It's a demon. The civilian council said. That demon has saved this village more times than you count, and he was the one that helped bring back Tsunade-sama as our goddamn Hokage, Shibuya Burame said. The argument between civilians and shinobi began, and Tsunade looked at the argument before finally having enough of it. Enough, she roared, slamming her hands on the meeting table, causing it crack straight down the middle and break in two. We'll take a vote then, Danzo said. Who votes that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Naruto Uzumaki, be banished? Danzo asked. The three elders and the entire civilian council raised their hands. Those opposed? He asked. Jiraiya, Tsunade and the Shinobi Council all raised theirs, but they dropped their heads in disappointment. They were outnumbered. There, it's settled. Naruto Uzumaki is to be banished, Hamura said. Jiraiya looked at them and muttered one word. Namikaze, he said. Everyone turned to look at the Gama Sannin. Excuse me, Jiraiya-sama, Suman Yuzuka asked. His godam name is Namikaze, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage. Jiraiya roared before leaving the room in a poof of smoke, not able to take the foolishness of these people any longer. Is this true, Tsunade-sama? Everyone asked the Hokage. Tsunade looked downcast before looking up with tears in her chocolate brown eyes and nodded. Naruto ... is Minato's son, she said. And you all just banished his legacy, Tsunade said. She then walked towards the door and opened it. Sasuke Uchiha is to stripped of his shinobi status and forced to live for the rest of his life in a jail cell with chakra restricting seals on his body, if anyone has a problem with that. Tsunade let loose her rage at full blast, killing intent filling the entire Hokage tower. And then some, take it up with me and we'll see what happens to you. Tsunade then left the room to go and tell Naruto the news. Konoha Hospital. Naruto was sleeping in his room, but although he was physically fine, he was busy having a chat with his tenant. Naruto stood in front of the cage of the demonic entity known as the Kyuubi no Kitsune. I can't believe she said that to me. After all I've done for her, this is how she repays me ... by calling me a demon, Naruto said as he knelt before the cage. Kit, don't worry yourself. She was bitch from the beginning, and don't worry, the best thing for you right now ... is to leave this hellhole, Kyuubi said. Naruto looked up at the nine-tailed fox and stared into the fox's large crimson eyes. Kyuubi, why? The villagers, Sakura, Sasuke ... they've all betrayed. I have only a few people here that I can call friends, maybe. Maybe you are right, Naruto said. Kyuubi nodded. Although Kyuubi was a bloodthirsty demon, he was a bloodthirsty demon with a heart, and although he despised his container in the beginning, The unshakable determination and strength Naruto had was enough to actually earn the demon's respect for his Jinchuriki. I know I'm right, and I should let down my mask. My mask of idiocy, Naruto said. You should, but are your emotions a mask too? No, my emotions were real as you and I. My feelings for my friends were real, Naruto said. VERYYYY nodded his large vulpine head before raising his head. Well, that's enough chit-chat. Now come on, wake up. That busty hawkage of yours is here to see you, Kit. We will talk later, VERYYYY said, and then there was a bright flash that burned Naruto's eyes before he found himself lying in a hospital bed underneath the bed sheets and covered in bandages. Naruto turned to face the door as he saw the knob turn and the door open to reveal the goddamn Haki herself. Oi, Oba-chan, what's up? Naruto asked as she walked over to him. Tsunade didn't say anything until she reached his bed and then dropped to her knees and hugged the younger blonde. Naruto's eyes widened when he saw her do this and then wrapped his arms around her as she stained his hospital gown with tears. Oba-chan, what's wrong? Naruto asked. Tsunade looked at Naruto with tears in her brown eyes. I really tried, Naruto. I really did. But they outnumbered us, Tsunade said. Naruto looked at Tsunade oddly, tilting his head to the side. Tsunade's information was confusing him. What do you mean, who is they? He asked. The council, they've banished you from Konoha, she said. Naruto froze, shocked still. Then he cast his head down low and began to cry. After the two cried their eyes out, Naruto and Tsunade looked at each other. Naruto, I have something to tell you, Tsunade said. Naruto nodded as he wiped away the tears from his eyes. It's about your parents, Tsunade said. Naruto's eyes seemed to have brightened up at that information. Really, you know who they are? Naruto asked. Tsunade smiled and gave a nod, affirmative. Your mother was Kushina Uzumaki from the country of Uzugakure and your father ... he was the Yellow Flash, and Konoha's Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze, Tsunade said. Naruto's eyes widened at realizing who his father was. Really, is this true? Am I really related to the Yondaime? Naruto asked. Tsunade nodded and Naruto smiled before hugging the older blonde. Arigato, Oba-chan, Naruto said. Tsunade smiled and returned the hug. Of course ... you know I've always seen you as a little brother, Naruto, Tsunade said. And I have seen you as an elder sister, Tsunade, Naruto said. Tsunade backed up when he called her Tsunade. You just called me by my name, she stated. Yeah, well, I can't call my sister figure by her name, Naruto asked. Tsunade chuckled. Of course you can, Tsunade said. The two turned to hear the door opening and saw Jiraiya walking into the room. Did you tell him yet? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, she told me, Iro-senin, Naruto said with a foxy grin. Jiraiya chuckled and walked over to Naruto before reaching into his pockets and pulling out two scrolls, one with the kanji for Namikaze, the other for Uzumaki. Well then, I'm sorry I couldn't teach more, Naruto, but here are the jutsu scrolls of your father and your mother. There's also a letter addressed to you from them at the beginning of each scroll, Jiraiya said. Arigato, Iro-senin, Naruto said, taking the scrolls. I will miss you. You would have been the best student I ever had. Better than your father, Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded and smiled. Well, how long do I have to get ready to leave the village? Naruto asked. The council has given you enough time to pack your things and leave. You must leave by tomorrow afternoon though, Tsunade informed him. Naruto nodded and then Tsunade and Jiraiya took him out of the hospital to help him pack. End flashback. Get of here, demon. A villager yelled. Yeah, we don't need your kind in Konoha, another said. Naruto sighed and then glared before unleashing some of the killing intent he had. You are all bakas. To think I even cared about saving your insolent and pathetic lives time after time. I'm glad I'm leaving this hellhole, Naruto said before spitting on the ground in front of them. May you all burn in hell, Naruto growled before turning to his friends of Team 8, Team 10 and Team Guy and looked at them as if to tell them, I still care for you though. The genin nodded and then watched as Naruto adjusted his backpack before channeling chakra into his feet and taking off at an insane speed so that in case anyone from the council was going to tail him, he would be far enough ahead to escape. Naruto jumped from tree to tree before settling down in the forest as night began to fall. Meanwhile, in Anther World and Dimension, a large world comprised entirely of computerized data was formed from the entire world's computer networks combining as one to form a land known as the digital world. Data took the physical embodiments of creatures known as Digimon and, like humans, had feelings. However, when they grew stronger from battling other Digimon, they absorbed their data and grew stronger and undergoes evolution, also known as digivolution. The digital world was ruled by 4 digital sovereigns, a group of 4 mega-level holy beast Digimon that are derived from the Japanese myth of the 4 guardian spirits of Kyoto, itself derived from the Chinese myth of the four symbols. Like the guardian spirits, they represent and rule over the cardinal points of the compass: Ebenwoman for the north, Jukyeaman for the south, Azalongman for the east, and Behuman for the west. There is also a fifth member, Fanglongman, who represents and is enshrined in the center, from which he supervises the others. However, deep within a prison, the Dark Prison, a jail cell that was used to hold one of the most evil forces of the digital world, there lay a dark beast, which ironically came to exist in the digital world as an angelic Digimon. A Digimon with ferocious power that was sealed away by the sovereigns themselves in order to prevent the digital world's destruction. Lusamon, it seems there is someone who can help me escape this prison, Lusamon said as he sat in his dark prison. Lusamon was a young blonde humanoid-looking Digimon with blonde hair and 7 angelic bird wings. Purple markings formed on the boy's chest and the digital hazard symbol was shown on his right hand. A large orb floated in front of Lusamon, and in that orb was the image of a blonde boy resting in the forest. Lusamon smirked before channeling her energy, and the energy took the form of a blue rectangular piece of data, a blue card. Lusamon then opened a rift in the space-time continuum by using the card as a medium. Since I cannot escape this prison, this card will help bring my salvation to me, Lusamon said before tossing the card through the portal, and the dark abyss closed. We will see each other soon. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Until then have fun in the digital world, young Tamer, Lusamon said with an evil smirk. Back with Naruto. Naruto was resting against a tree as he was quite tired from using his chakra for so long during his run. He stared into the orange flames of his campfire before feeling bored. Hey Kyuubi, you there? He thought to the giant fox in his gut. Well, it's not like I have any place to go, Kyuubi said with a grin. Naruto chuckled. So, what should we do? I hear Wave Country is nice this time of year. I could see the old man Tazuna again and Inari and Tsunami, Naruto thought. What about Suna? Your friend Garo with that Baka Shukaku in him is there. Start over your life as a shinobi, maybe, the nine-tailed fox suggested. Naruto sighed. I honestly have no idea what I'm going to ... Wait a minute, what's that? Naruto thought before he saw a flash of blue fill his vision. Naruto covered his eyes from the bright blue light until the light died down to nothing but a faint glow. Naruto uncovered his eyes and looked to see a small blue card laying in the grass in front of him. Naruto got up and walked towards the strange blue card and saw the blue glow that emanated from it. Kyuubi, have ever seen something like this? Naruto asked his Biju as he looked over the card. No, Naruto, it does not look like anything I have ever seen before in my life, Kyuubi said, also curious about this blue card. The card was electric blue in color, and on it was a capital D made out of yellow squares, and out of the space in the D a blue dinosaur-looking creature seemed to be coming out of it. Hello, Naruto, a mysterious voice said. Naruto jumped back slightly and whipped out a kunai and held it at the ready and looked around his campsite. Who said that? Naruto asked. Show yourself, Naruto demanded, his sapphire-colored eyes darting every which way looking for the enemy. However, he turned around when he heard the voice again. That was me, young shinobi, the voice said. This time, Naruto heard where it came from ... The strange blue card. Naruto knelt down and looked at the card. Oh great, I'm going mad already. A talking blue card, Naruto said to himself, rubbing his eyes. I assure you, young man, you are not insane. But I am not here to question your sanity. I am here to offer you a proposition, young Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, the voice said. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at the card. How do you know my name? He asked the card. Oh, I've been watching you for quite a while, young Naruto, and I know everything about you, from your little tenant to your banishment, the voice said. Naruto gulped. This was really starting to freak him out. A card that knew everything about him, and what about this stupid proposition? Naruto shrugged. Things couldn't get any worse, so he picked up the card and looked at it. Okay, what's your deal? Naruto asked the card. The deal is that I can give you a second chance. A do-over if you will, the voice said. Naruto looked at the card with a perplexed look on his face. And what do I have to do in exchange? Naruto asked. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Now if you want to do this, just pump your chakra into the card and you will be transported to a new world and dimension, the voice said. Naruto thought for a while before deciding to consult with his Biju. Well, Kyuubi, what do you think? I think it sounds pretty good, Naruto thought. Well, there is no downside to dimensional travel. Plus there is the fact that Konoha will mark you as an S-ranked shinobi in their bingo book. So if you go to this new world, you won't have any worries about having multiple assassinations on your head 24/7. I say go for it, Kyuubi decided. Naruto thought for a while more. Kyuubi did make an excellent point with the assassination thing. Naruto nodded before looking at the card. Okay, I'll do it, but where am I going? He asked the blue card. Now where's the fun in that? Finding out is half the fun, and besides, if I told you, I'd have to kill you by now, the voice said with a cherry tone before disappearing. Naruto's sweat dropped. Oh well, let's do this. You ready, Kyuubi? I've always been ready, Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded. He picked up his backpack off the floor and then channeled his chakra into the card, and then a burst of blue energy was released from the card along with bolts of blue lightning that were launched forwards a few feet in front of Naruto before taking on a circular shape, and then a blue portal formed. Naruto looked in awe at what just happened before taking a step towards the portal. Okay, here goes nothing. Jiraiya. Naruto jumped into the portal and was suddenly being sucked in at supersonic speeds. Both Naruto and Kyuubi had to coat his body with their chakras to keep it from being ripped apart at the speeds they were going at. Naruto opened his eyes and began to experience tunnel vision. Numbers then began to cross Naruto's vision. Ones and zeros randomly appeared in front of his eyes. They all glowed an eerie green color before fading out, and then a white light enveloped Naruto's body. Digital world. A large blue portal opened in the sky in the digital world, and then a small orange blob fell from the portal and made a loud boom as it connected with the ground. Itai, Naruto groaned as he stood to his feet. He looked over himself and saw that his jumpsuit was ruined. The jacket was torn beyond repair, his pants had numerous slashes on it from the speed he was traveling at through the portal, and his sandals were broken. He then looked at his backpack to find miraculously in one piece. He opened it and saw that he still had the food he packed. Enough ramen to last him a good few weeks, the scrolls given to him by Jiraiya that were originally obtained by his parents, and a change of clothes given to him by Tsunade. Naruto smiled as he took off his jumpsuit. Finally, I can get rid of this stupid jumpsuit. I never had a reason to do it before, but now. Naruto stripped down to his underwear and put on the new clothes and smiled to himself as he looked over his new look. A black t-shirt with orange flames on the bottom lining of the shirt with a picture of an orange-scaled dragon on it. A pair of long dark blue cargo pants that ended just above his ankles and contained many pockets, and to complete it, a pair of black ninja sandals. Naruto no longer had his highlight, so his bangs fell over his forehead now. Naruto jumped out of the crater he had made and then shouldered his backpack. He looked around to find himself in a large desert area with a few patches of grass here and there. He then looked up and gasped at what he saw, his widening in awe. Above him, where the sky was, there also floated a large ball of light and looked to be like a hologram of some kind that looked very much like the Earth. Large beams of light fell from this globe of light and touched down on the desert area. Wow, Naruto said, because that's pretty much what he could think to say right there. However, he was snapped out of his hypnotism when he heard a loud roar. He turned to the east and then channeled chakra into his feet before running off in the direction of the sound. I don't care if I might find a giant monster or something. I need some information about this world, Naruto thought. Naruto continued running, and in a matter of minutes he arrived at the source of the roar. There, attacking a small village, was a large red Tyrannosaurus-looking monster. It had a large red body, black stripe-like markings that seemed to be all over its body, a white stomach, large sharp claws and teeth, dark blue-colored eyes, and green spikes that traveled along the length of its body, from its skull, down its back, and ended at the tip of its tail. What the hell? Naruto said as he watched the dinosaur-like monster destroy the village. Soon I will digivolve and I will become a strong enough Digimon to go to the human world and find a Tamer. The dinosaur roared. Digivolve, Digimon, Tamer, Naruto thought. Naruto then ran into the village and saw many strange creatures just like the dinosaur. Some were small and round, others were a bit bigger, around the size of a child. They all ran from the dinosaur. Fire blast, the giant monster yelled. A large stream of fire flew from the creature's mouth and burnt a large portion of the village and killed some of the other creatures, turning them into what Naruto thought looked like light particles. The large tyrannosaur-like creature roared before continuing its path of destruction. However, Naruto spotted one tiny creature that stared at the large dino. I won't let you hurt my village, the small creature said. It looked like a small purple ball of hair with large orange eyes and 2 ears that were the same color as its fur. The mouth area was a white color. The ball of fur jumped forwards and then yelled something. Iron beads. Then small iron beads shot out of the little puffball's mouth and struck the large dinosaur in its stomach. The large monster looked down at the puffball and laughed. You little pipsqueak, you think that hurt? I'll show you hurt, Dino kick. The large dinosaur yelled. The small purple ball was struck hard by the monster's foot and was sent flying. Naruto watched as the ball of purple flew through the air, and quickly channeled chakra into his feet and caught the thing before setting it down on the ground. It looked badly hurt before turning and facing Naruto. Thanks for saving me, Mr. Holy Sovereign of the North, you're a human. The purple ball of fur yelled with the voice of a young boy. This told Naruto that the ball of fluff was a male. Yes, so are humans not native to this land? Naruto asked. The ball shook its head. No, this is the digital world where Digimon like us and that large monster live. I'm DORUMON by the way, in that thing there is a Tyrannomon, a champion level Digimon, DORUMON said. So Digimon are the species that live in this new world, but they know what humans are. So that must mean that there must be a parallel Earth, except different from mine because the blue card had told me I would be in a different dimension. Naruto thought as he analyzed the information he had just received. Now if you know what's good for you, you should leave before it kills you. Human, DORUMON said. Naruto smirked before kneeling down and touching DORUMON's head. You really want to save your village, don't you, DORUMON? Naruto asked. DORUMON looked at Naruto with a fierce look in his eyes. Of course, and I will do anything. Even give my life if it means I can take that big asshole of a dinosaur Digimon with me, DORUMON said, and then DORUMON glowed in a purplish aura before Naruto. DORUMON digivolved to DORUMON. The purple aura disappeared and Naruto looked in awe as he saw DORUMON had changed. DORUMON had grown taller, about 4 inches taller due to the growth of 4 legs making him quadrupedal. A short pointy tail that was shaped like his ears grew from his backside and he seemed to be slightly slimmer. He was no longer DORUMON, he was DORUMON. Hey, I did it. I digivolved, DORUMON said looking at his new form. So this is Digivolution, Naruto thought. Okay, well then DORUMON, let me help you take down this creep, Naruto said. DORUMON looked at Naruto with "Are you retarded?" look. Are you crazy? You're a human, you don't stand a chance against that thing. DORUMON said. Naruto smirked down at DORUMON and then channeled chakra into his legs. I'll show you what Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze can do, Naruto said, and then took off at a speed DORUMON could not keep up with. What the hell? What kind of human is this guy? Naruto. DORUMON thought. Naruto ran along the path to Tyrannomon before jumping up to Tyrannomon's eye level. Oi, Dino shit, eat this. Naruto yelled before forming a cross-shaped hand sign. Kagebenshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto yelled, and then 5 clones appeared in puffs of smoke. The clones and the original Naruto all channeled chakra into their fists before slamming it against Tyrannomon, all of them hitting the giant dinosaur Digimon in between its eyes. The large dinosaur was thrown back and fell to the ground, surprising DORUMON, who saw this. What the F? DORUMON yelled before running on his newly developed legs to see Naruto. Naruto stood on the Tyrannomon's stomach and then looked behind him to see DORUMON running towards him. So what do you think of me now, DORUMON? Naruto asked. I think you're insane, DORUMON said, but I like you human. I mean Naruto, DORUMON said. Naruto gave DORUMON a thumbs up before Tyrannomon began to get up. Naruto jumped off of the Digimon's stomach and landed next to DORUMON. So DORUMON, now that you've digivolved or whatever you call your transformations, are you stronger now or something? Naruto asked. Yes, but I'm only an entraining level Digimon. I'll explain the system to you later. But right now we have to take down Tyrannomon, DORUMON said. Naruto nodded and then looked down at DORUMON, who smirked up at him. So what, are we partners or something now? Naruto asked. We'll see, Naruto, DORUMON said. He might be the human I can pair up with to be my tamer, and then I go to the human world, DORUMON thought. DORUMON was knocked out of his thoughts as Tyrannomon rose to his feet. You dare challenge me, human? Why not just become my tamer and allow me to become stronger? Tyrannomon roared. Because, you dino shit, I know your type. You just want power and you will kill innocent Digimon for that power. I can't let someone like you do that, and DORUMON and I ... we will stop you. Naruto said, pointing accusingly at Tyrannomon. Bring it. Human, Tyrannomon growled before unleashing a fire blast attack. Naruto grabbed DORUMON and jumped out of the way. Okay, DORUMON, I'm going to throw you and we'll see what you can do on 3, okay? Naruto said. DORUMON nodded, not really paying attention to what Naruto just said. Huh? Hey, wait a minute. No, wait, DORUMON said, frantically trying to break free of Naruto's grip. 1, 2, 3. Naruto yelled. DORUMON screamed in fear, tears coming from both the fear and the speed he was thrown at. DORUMON then got over his fear and a determined look crossed his face. Metal drop. The purple quadrupedal Digimon yelled before firing a large metal ball about the size of a basketball at Tyrannomon, hitting the champion-level Digimon in its eye. Tyrannomon roared in pain as DORUMON followed up by crashing right into the metal ball, thus forcing the metal sphere to damage Tyrannomon's eye even more. DORUMON rubbed his head, nauseated from the headbutting, and then gave a ... paw/thumb/appendage up to Naruto. Naruto smirked before running and forming a Kagebenshin. Naruto held out his hand and the Kagebenshin began to move its hands over Naruto's outstretched one. A glowing blue ball of chakra and wind swirled into existence before he jumped and the Kagebenshin dispelled itself. Naruto then jumped right onto Tyrannomon's nose and ran along the snout and slammed his attack right into the damaged left eye of Tyrannomon. Rasengan, Naruto yelled and thrust the chakra sphere forwards. He crashed through the metal sphere and the Rasengan was plunged straight into Tyrannomon's eye before shredding it into data, and the Tyrannomon was no more. Naruto and Dorumon fell to the ground. AHHH, somebody save me all, Dorumon yelled. Naruto chuckled before grabbing Dorumon and was about to prepare for the impact with the ground. But the two suddenly began to glow a rainbow of colors, and just before they hit the ground, they vanished. The center of the digital world. In the digital core of the digital world, 5 powerful digital beings stood in a circle. The first was a large brown two-headed turtle, with red eyes and black mask-like helmets worn atop the two heads. A large tree was shown to make up most of this turtle-like Digimon's shell, and it stood on 4 large legs as large as the trunks of fully grown oak trees. The second was a large phoenix or a bird of some kind. Its feathers were colored the colors of fire, red, orange, and yellow. Glowing yellow eyes blazed beneath feathers that seemed to be shaped into a helmet. The only parts that weren't the colors of fire were the lower part of its beak, the feathers that made up its neck, and its talons, which were all a pitch black. The third was a dragon, a blue dragon with a mask at its head that was navy blue with yellow lightning patterns of it. A large, blur lightning-shaped horn came from the dragon Digimon's mask, through which large red eyes peered through said mask. A large wavy mustache, the color of freshly fallen snow, stretched from the snout of the dragon. Along the length of its blue-scaled body, many chains were wrapped around it, and at the tip of its tail, a bolt of lightning sparked with tremendous power. The fourth was a large white tiger which was patterned with purple stripes. The tiger wore a purple and black-colored mask through which 4 orange-colored eyes looked at the other Digimon present. Along the length of its back, 3 large spikes protruded from the tiger's back. 2 forearm guards which were purple and outlined in black with the kanji for steel and white were worn on the tiger Digimon's forelimbs. On its backlimbs were large black bracers which were studded, and the final piece of steel on its body was the ring of black steel placed on its tail, and had 4 large and sharp spikes on it. The final and 5th member of the 5 Digimon present was a large golden dragon-like Digimon with many sharp, bronze-colored scales along the length of its body. 8 glowing orange eyes were present on the dragon's face, as well as a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. 6 large bronze spikes rose up from this second dragon Digimon's body, somewhere where the rib cage would be. All of these Digimon were mega-level Digimon, with 12 glowing spheres, the digicores rotating around their bodies, except for the golden bronze-colored dragon which had 8. These were the 5 Digimon sovereigns: Ebonwoman the turtle of the north, Jukiaomon the phoenix of the south, Azulongmon the dragon of the east, Beihumon the tiger of the west, and Fanglongmon the dragon of the center. Then the 5 mega-level Digimon looked in the center of the circle they had formed when a rainbow-colored glow formed. The glow died down to reveal the forms of Naruto and Dorumon. Dorumon and Naruto landed with an oof on the ground and then stood to their feet. "Damn, what happened to us? Well, you guys are quite huge," Naruto said in awe as he saw the 5 giant Digimon that easily dwarfed the Hawkage Tower. "Naruto, you shouldn't say such disrespectful things about these Digimon. These guys are mega level and they are the 4 sovereigns of the Digimon world, although I don't know who the golden dragon is though, unless he's..." Dorumon said, but his speech was left unfinished as Jukiaomon became annoyed. "Silence, human, you as well, young and training Digimon," Jukiaomon screeched. The two immediately shut up when the large phoenix spoke. Now Jukiaomon, no need to be so rough with these young people," the right head of Ebonwoman said. "Now then, seeing as how the human boy..." The left was suddenly interrupted when Naruto spoke again. "Naruto, I'm sorry, my hearing isn't what it used to be," young man, Ebonwoman said, and both heads stretched forward. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," Naruto said. Ebonwoman nodded. "Well then, Naruto," the left head continued, "we are the 5 Digimon sovereigns. I am Ebonwoman. The impatient phoenix here is Jukiaomon." "Hey, I resent that remark," the phoenix Digimon said to the eldest of the 5 sovereigns. Ebonwoman ignored Jukiaomon before continuing. "The tiger here is Beihumon, the blue dragon is Azulongmon, and finally our leader, the one and only Fanglongmon," Ebonwoman said, finishing the introduction. Naruto and Dorumon bowed to the Digimon sovereigns. "May I ask why we are here?" Dorumon asked Beihumon with the utmost respect. Beihumon looked down at the two. "We have all gathered here because of you two. You young Dorumon is because you contain an unnatural string of code in your digital makeup. It is called the X antibody, and since we found out about you we have been monitoring you until you suddenly digivolved, and we are here to discuss your fate. As for you, Naruto, we have seen you appear out of nowhere and fought the Tyrannomon with Dorumon. We are here also to discuss your fate as your powers that you displayed in the battle piqued our curiosity," Beihumon said. "Excuse me, Beihumon-sama," Naruto asked. "Speak," Beihumon said. "Well, seeing as how I am new to this world due to this blue card I found in my world, I am foreign to this world and was wondering if you or any other one of the sovereigns here could give a little description of the digital world. Naruto asked. Bayhuman nodded and then gestured to Ebonwoman. Ebonwoman nodded and then a long green vine stretched out from the foliage of the large tree on the turtle Digimon's back. The vine then touched Naruto's forehead and then Naruto's brain was uploaded with the information on the digital world. When the data transfer was complete, the vine retracted back to Ebonwoman's tree. Naruto blinked as he stared at the five. Wait a minute, child, a deep voice said. Everyone turned to see Fanglongman. The other four were surprised, and judging from their surprise, Naruto and Dorumon guessed that Fanglongman didn't talk much. Fanglongman ... you ... talked, Azulongmon said in surprise. Fanglongman nodded. Yes, I am gifted with speech. Why does that surprise everybody all the time? Fanglongman said with an irritated tone. No reason, the other sovereign said, turning away from his gaze. Fanglongman then bent his neck down to Naruto's level. Dorumon got scared of the large dragon and immediately hid behind Naruto's leg. But Naruto showed no fear on his face at all, which surprised the other four mega-leveled Digimon, considering that any other Digimon or human for that matter would be scared shitless fro. Young Naruto ... this blue card that you mentioned, show it to me, I need to check something, the great dragon Digimon said. Naruto nodded and then reached into his pocket and pulled out the blue card with the capital D on it with the picture of what Naruto now knew was a Digimon coming out of it. This blue card is what granted me the dimensional traveling ability to come here in the digital world, Naruto explained to the bronze dragon. Fanglongman and the other sovereigns were intrigued. Young Naruto, that card only appears to humans that have the ability to partner or tame Digimon, thus earning them the title Digimon Tamer. You are one of those chosen apparently, Azulongman said in surprise. A Digimon Tamer? Naruto asked. Although Ebonwoman had given him the information of the digital world, the two-headed turtle did not give him this information. Dorumon decided to speak. Yeah, Naruto, you see, a Digimon Tamer is someone who makes a partnership with a Digimon and helps them grow stronger with the help of their tamer. Like how when you and I were fighting and then I digivolved from Dodomon to Dorumon. Dorumon said. Naruto looked at the blue card and then back at Dorumon. Ebonwoman chuckled. Well, my fellow sovereigns, it seems we have a new tamer in our midst. However, Jukiyamon wasn't as pleased as the others. Nanny, are you all insane? These two are obviously dangerous. This human has shown to be able to use powers that regular humans do not possess, and this young Digimon is an unknown Digimon. They must be deleted. Jukiyamon screeched as fire swirled around his being. Naruto and Dorumon backed away from the phoenix before Fanglongman decided to intervene. That is enough, you will not harm these two. Fanglongman roared. Like you could stop me. I can sense the darkness in this Digimon's data, he must be destroyed. Jukiyamon said with even more anger. However, that like you could stop me remark seemed to have struck a chord in Fanglongman, and the ancient Digimon faced his fellow ancient. The large bronze dragon roared and killing intent struck the phoenix Digimon like a wave of water and snuffed his flames. Care to say that again? Fanglongman asked. The sovereign of the south remained quiet and shook his head. Fanglongman nodded and then held out one of his claws. A glowing golden light formed and a small device floated from the dragon's claw and into Naruto's hand. Naruto gripped the light, and in his hand the light changed into a device with a small screen with two buttons that acted as left and right arrows and one small orange button beneath the screen. A strap that could be used to attach the device to Naruto's pants. The strap was colored a reddish-violet just like the colors around the screen. What is this? Naruto asked. That, my young friend, is what is known as a Digivice, also called the D-Arc. In the earth of this universe, Digimon is a card game, and no one other than other tamers know that Digimon are real. Digimon is a card game in this earth, and thus they sell ability cards in shops that can be used to power up your Digimon partner. Fanglongman then held out another glowing claw, and a light then fashioned itself into 5 cards. Naruto took the cards from Fanglongman and looked at them. Are these power-up cards? Naruto asked. The sovereigns nodded. Yes, Azulongman said, deciding to explain things. These cards each contain a bit of our power, and as a result they are the most powerful Digimon modification cards. You can and must only use them in dire situations and only then. Understood? Azulongman said. Hi, I understand, Naruto said. So who is my Digimon partner if I'm a tamer now? Dorumon looked up at Naruto. After hearing that question, Dorumon immediately thought that Naruto did not want him as his Digimon partner and turned to leave. But Naruto called Dorumon. Hey Dorumon, where are you going? Naruto asked. Well, since you're still considering who your partner will be, I'm guessing you don't want me as your partner, Dorumon said. Naruto smirked and walked over to Dorumon and knelt down to speak to the purple Digimon better. Dorumon, you and I fought a Digimon together as a team. You have an unbridled determination and you're really strong, and you don't want to gain strength for yourself. You wanted to protect others, I would pick you over anyone including the Digi sovereigns, Naruto said. Hey, I resent that remark, DIGIMON said, earning a chuckle from everyone. So what do you say? Partners, Naruto said, extending his hand. DORUMON looked at Naruto's hand and then smirked before extending his paw-like appendage. Partners, DORUMON said, and as the two touched, DORUMON's true strength was unlocked and the entraining Digimon began to glow in a purple ball of energy. DORUMON digivolved to DORUMON. The purple glow died down and DORUMON looked over his new rookie form. I digivolved again. The newly digivolved DORUMON said with excitement and looked over his new form. He looked like a small dinosaur or dragon with light purple fur. His eyes were now a golden-orange color. The mouth and snout areas of his head were still white. His ears grew longer and each had 3 black stripes on it. His tail was like that of a fox tail and was tipped with white and was purple like the rest of him. A pair of tiny black wings grew from his back. His belly was white and he was now bipedal with short forearms and longer backlimbs, each with 3 black claws, the foreclaws being shorter than the claws on his feet. However, the thing that was most prominent was the gray outlined, crimson-colored triangle in the center of DORUMON's head. So what's your name now? Naruto asked. It's DORUMON, DORUMON replied. Naruto nodded and then the pair turned to face the sovereigns and bowed to each one of them. So how do we get to the human world? DORUMON asked. Azulongman turned and a bolt of lightning shot from his horn and a portal opened up revealing a city. This is Shinjuku town, a place in modern-day Japan. This is where the other Tamers are located. Also, before you go, we need to tell you something, Azulongman said. Yes, the new Tamer pair of Naruto and DORUMON asked. You see, the light of Digivolution, the power that gives Digimon the ability to digivolve, has been threatened. As a result, we transformed the light into a physical body, the body of a Digimon called Calamon. If you see him, please keep an eye on him for us. He tends to have a habit of disappearing when you're not looking, Ebonwoman's left headset said. Fanglongman then called Naruto back. Naruto, listen, I know that you will develop a close relationship with DORUMON. But Jukiaomon was right when he said he had felt an evil presence inside your partner, so just as a precautionary measure, Fanglongman drew one of his scales which immediately grew back, and handed the ripped scale to Naruto. The scale then changed into the shape of a kunai knife, except was entirely made of the dragon of the center's scale. This scale contains the power of light in it. If DORUMON should ever drift towards the darkness, this kunai made of my scale will purify him, Fanglongman said before ushering Naruto to the portal. Well, have fun, youngsters, the right head of the turtle sovereign said. Naruto nodded and the pair left through the portal. Shinjuku town. In Shinjuku there stood 2 tall towers that people had thought to be a simple electronics building. But that was just a cover. These 2 towers were actually the headquarters of the secret organization called Hypnos. Hypnos' original purpose was to monitor the electronic communications of half the Earth as a SIGINite system for the Japanese government. Because of the legal issues of violating privacy, Hypnos was kept secret from the public, just as its real-life counterpart Project Echelon. However, Hypnos discovered Digimon who entered the real world. As a result, the agency's new objective is to detect Digimon when they bio-emerge in the real world and to prevent it if possible. If a Digimon does manage to cross over, Hypnos would try to capture the wild one and study it. Another function of the agency is to prevent media leaks about Digimon, as well as cover up incidents that involve Digimon. There inside the building were many floors and labs, but the most important room was the top floor room. In this room were a large amount of electronical equipment used to track, and if possible destroy any Digimon that tried to enter or bio-emerge into the real world. In a large chair, a young brown-haired woman was typing away rapidly on a colorful keyboard, and surrounding her was a holographic projection of the town of Shinjuku. Also, there was an electronic representation of the digital data stream. A large red dot formed on the data stream and traveled to Shinjuku town. Observing this was a young blonde man in a business suit and wore black shades. Sir, there's a wild one approaching. Should I send a tracer? The woman asked. Hi, kill the thing before it reaches here, the man said. However, as the tracer was sent, the bio-emergence began to occur. Sir, we're too late. The wild one has begun to bio-emerge, the woman said. The man shrugged it off. It doesn't matter. Anyways, the real priority is where the wild one showed up, the man said. The woman typed away on her colorful keyboard. I have no idea what I'm doing, the woman thought as she randomly typed keys that surprisingly were the correct keys needed to find the Digimon. It's in Shinjuku Park, sir, the woman informed the blonde man. Shinjuku Park. Naruto and DORUMON appeared through the glowing portal that Azulongman sent them through and landed with a loud cry of pain as they hit the hard concrete. Naruto and DORUMON looked at each other before standing up to their full heights. Naruto had then just noticed that DORUMON was now around his ribcage in terms of height. Nice growth spurt, Naruto said. Thanks, I've been working on it, Dorumon said. However, a group of kids surrounded Dorumon and began to talk to him, asking him questions like, "What Digimon are you?" or "Cool costume, where do you get it?" and so on, until their parents came and apologized before shooing them away. No harm done, he told the parents. Dorumon looked up at Naruto, who looked down at him. Orange stared at Blue until, what should we do now? Dorumon asked. Well, first we have to buy a place, an apartment maybe. Luckily I still have my backpack and I had enough money in there to at least pay 1 month's rent depending on the type of apartment we're buying, Naruto said. The two nodded and then began to walk around the town until they found a newspaper stand. Naruto took one and scanned through it until he found the section about homes for sale. There was an apartment which had 1 bedroom with a bunk bed, a couch, television, air conditioning and a kitchen, living room, that offered just the amount of money Naruto had in his bag. Naruto and Dorumon then walked to Karyu Street where the apartment was located, and apparently it was located close to Shinjuku High School. Naruto talked to the landlord and offered to buy the apartment. Naruto then broke into a sob story about how his parents died in a car crash when he was just a baby and only his uncle Kyuyubi, who was too busy to take care of him, could look after him, but failed to do anything. The only reminder he had of his parents was this Digimon toy that they gave him when he was born. The landlord broke down right there and sold the apartment for half price. Naruto wiped his tears and then picked up Dorumon and walked up the stairs. And the award for best actor goes to Naruto. Uzumaki Namikaze, Kyuyubi said. Thank you, Naruto thought back to Kyuyubi. So Kyuyubi, what do you think of this world so far? Naruto asked his tenant as he set down Dorumon when they were no longer in the landlord's field of vision before they turned to climb the stairs to apartment 5S. It seems nice, really nice. The pollution leaves a lot to be desired, but other than that it's nice. You should attend school though to keep up your cover. We don't want anyone to know you are a shinobi other than Dorumon and those other tamers if you find them, because if you do you will have to tell them eventually, Kyuyubi said. Yeah, alright, damn you and your persuasive nature. Damn it, Naruto thought before cutting off his connection with Kyuyubi. Naruto and Dorumon then entered the apartment with the key that the landlord gave him and observed the apartment. It was small, larger than the apartment that he had in Konoha, so it was pretty much okay to him. The kitchen had no food in the fridge, so Naruto knew he had to go out shopping sometime later, as well as for some clothes since the ones he was wearing now were the only set of clothes he had. There was a microwave and an electric stove too, with a small kitchen table for 2. The bedroom had a bunk, with Dorumon immediately calling the top bunk. There was a nightstand with a lamp which had 3 drawers to put things in. There was also a closet and a drawer set to put things like underwear and socks in. Pretty nice, Naruto thought. Naruto looked outside and saw the sun was setting and decided to go and sign up at the Shinjuku High School tomorrow. Well, time for bed, Dorumon, Naruto said, but his statement was replied to with a snore. Naruto chuckled to find the dragon-like Digimon fast asleep. Naruto stripped his clothes and put on the pajamas he had packed in his bag. He then got under the covers and began to close his eyes. Good night, partner, he thought to Dorumon. Naruto was walking in an area completely shrouded in darkness. In fact, it was so dark he couldn't see his own hand in front of his face. As he continued walking, he realized he had no idea where he was going. I have no idea where I'm going, the blonde Digimon Tamer said to himself. As he walked, he saw ones and zeros that glowed an emerald green color before fading out of existence. Then he saw a small orb of light. What the hell? Naruto thought as he walked closer to the light. The light began to take shape, but as he got closer the light got brighter, and he was forced to stop and shield his eyes, else risk losing his eyesight from the intensity of the white light that shone in the darkness. That was when Naruto heard it. A voice from the orb of light. Help me, the voice said. Naruto's eyes widened as he recognized the voice. No way, you're that voice. The voice from the blue card, Naruto said. Who are you and why do you need help? He asked. However, the voice paid no heed to Naruto's words and continued speaking. Please help me ... It's so dark in here, so cold, please help me. You innocent fool. The voice suddenly changed from innocent and pure to one that sounded evil and demonic, like Kyuyubi's voice, only much, much darker. A large claw of shadow raced its way towards Naruto, and Naruto screamed as the claw was about to grab him. Naruto shot awake screaming like there was no tomorrow and panted. He grasped his entire body to make sure he was still in one piece. He was drenched in a cold sweat and looked at the clock, and it read 6:30 in the morning. He then heard a cough and looked a bit more to his left and saw Dorumon standing there with worried look on his dragon-like face. Naruto, are you okay? You were screaming really loudly and you were tossing and turning in your bed, the ex-antibody holder said. Naruto shook his head. Yeah, I'm fine. Just a nightmare is all it was, Naruto said. Then why did it feel so real? And what was that voice? It was just like the blue cards, only it changed to a much darker one. Naruto thought before opening his nightstand drawer and took out his Digivice D-Arc Digimon card holder with the blue card next to it and the 5 modification cards he was given to by the Digimon sovereigns. He stared at the blue card before Dorumon snapped him out of his thoughts. "Hey Naruto, you awake there?" Dorumon asked. Naruto shook his head and nodded. "Yeah, I'm going to have a shower now. Maybe it'll help calm my nerves," Naruto said. Dorumon nodded and then waited, sitting on Naruto's bed as he waited on Naruto to finish showering. The purple dragon-like Digimon looked at the D-Arc and observed its reddish-purple coloring before staring at the blue card. What is it about this card that put Naruto into such a trance? Dorumon thought. He tried to see if there was something on the card, but other than the D and the picture of the blue pixel-looking Digimon coming out of said D, it was pretty much a normal card. The door to the bathroom opened and Naruto stepped out wearing the clothes that he wore yesterday. The black t-shirt with orange flames and an orange scaled dragon on the front. The pair of blue cargo pants with many pockets, and finally the pair of blue ninja sandals and the necklace that he won from Tsunade. "Hey Naruto, where did you get that pretty necklace?" Dorumon asked. Naruto smiled softly as he looked at Dorumon before looking at the aquamarine colored crystal on the necklace. "I got this from a person I once called a sister," Naruto said. Dorumon seemed to notice that Naruto was rather emotional during his response and did not press the matter any further. "Oh right, Naruto, remember you have to go to school today," Dorumon reminded his Tamer. The blonde Digimon Tamer nodded before reaching into his backpack and pulled out 2 cups of instant ramen. He walked into the kitchen, with Dorumon trailing behind him. He opened the cups by tearing off the paper sealing before adding the water, and then putting the seasoning packets in the cups before popping the both into the microwave. Dorumon watched as Naruto made the ramen. "So what are we having to eat?" Dorumon asked, staring at the ramen cups rotating in the microwave. "This, my young Diggy buddy, is called ramen. Ramen is the most delectable food that will ever meet your taste buds and is the food that only gods have made." "Yes, it's that good," Naruto said. Dorumon still looked perplexed as he stared at the ramen cups, and then the timer went off. Naruto squealed with joy, his trademark fox grin on his face before reaching out and grabbed the cups, already cooling the ramen down with a low-level wind jutsu. He then handed one to Dorumon and went into his room before grabbing some chopsticks and heading back into the kitchen. Dorumon watched as Naruto greedily ate the noodles of the ramen. "Seems pretty good," Dorumon thought before taking a sniff. "Smells good too. Oh, what the hell?" Dorumon just eat it. The purple dragon Digimon tilted the cup to his lips and drank the broth while also eating some of the noodles that entered his maw. Dorumon's eyes widened as he stared into space. Naruto stopped eating and looked at his partner and noticed the look on Dorumon's face. "Dorumon, you okay?" Naruto asked. Dorumon looked at his Tamer and smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "This is the best food ever," Dorumon yelled before continuing to eat the ramen. Naruto smiled before continuing with his ramen, and in a matter of seconds, the ramen was gone. "I knew you'd like it," Naruto said. Dorumon nodded and then followed Naruto to the door. "Okay, I'm going to go to the school now. There's extra ramen in my backpack, so in case you get hungry. Also, if you get bored, watch the television over there in the living room. I'll be back by 3:30, okay?" Naruto said. Dorumon nodded and gave Naruto a mock salute. Naruto saluted back with a chuckle before leaving and closing the door. Dorumon looked around the apartment and then walked over to the television and sat on the couch. The fur-covered dragon looked around and stared at the television's black screen and then tilted his head in confusion. "Sue, how do I work this thing?" It was going to be a long day for this Digimon. Shinjuku High School. Naruto had already arrived at the school in a matter of minutes since his apartment building was only 10 minutes from the place. He stepped through the large gates to the school and looked around and saw many students entering the place so as to reach to their classes early. "So where's the principal's office?" Naruto thought as he looked around the school complex. He then spied the entrance to a large building and guessed it was in there. Naruto walked towards the building and entered through the doors to see an entire corridor filled with doors. Naruto's sweat dropped. "Now this could be a problem," Naruto said. His ears then picked up the sound of someone entering the building too. As he turned around, he saw a young boy around the age of 11 and was a bit shorter than Naruto, with bluish black hair and brown eyes. The boy looked like a mix between Chinese and Japanese heritage and wore a black t-shirt underneath an orange vest with a pair of blue pants and gray and yellow colored sneakers. "Hey, who are you?" the boy asked. Naruto looked at the boy before answering. "It's common courtesy to give your own name first," Naruto said. The boy chuckled. "That it is, I'm Henry. Henry Wong, and you are?" Henry asked, extending his hand for Naruto to shake. Naruto extended his own and shook Henry's hand. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I just moved to Shinjuku. Any chance you know where the principal's office is? Naruto asked. Henry chuckled and pointed to the door at the end of the corridor that was made entirely of glass. That glass door right there. Well, see you around, Naruto, Henry said and turned to leave. However, as Naruto turned to leave, also his nose picked up a peculiar scent on Henry. Naruto looked as Henry walked away and smirked. That scent seems I've met the first Tamer, Naruto said before going into the office. Naruto looked at the office and looked pretty much like the Hokage's office except without a large window to look out of. Naruto knocked on the door as he looked at the ma at the desk. The man was short with graying hair, showing that his original hair color was either a dark brown or black. He had squinty eyes so you couldn't really see his irises, and he wore a gray business suit with black dress shoes and a red tie. Oh, Konnichiwa, young man, and you are? The man asked. Konnichiwa, I would like to apply to this school, sir, Naruto said. The principal looked at Naruto once over and nodded before reaching into some drawers and took out a few sheets of paper. Well, as you want to join this school, just sign these papers, and then after that I will give you an evaluation test before putting you in a class, the principal said. Naruto nodded and took the papers before signing his name and signature on them before handing them back to the principal. Good, now here is the evaluation test. You can use that spare desk over there, the principal told Naruto as he pointed to a wooden desk in the corner of a room. Naruto nodded and then walked over to the desk and took a seat in the green-colored chair behind the desk. Naruto looked over the test and smirked. These questions were quite easy, other than history and geography of course, and a few of the math problems. After about an hour and a half, Naruto finished the test paper and handed it to the principal. Arigato. Now if you would please wait outside while I mark this, the principal said. Naruto nodded and left the room and watched the principal mark his test paper. After about 5 minutes, the principal waved Naruto back in, who saw it through the glass door. Naruto walked back in and stood at the principal's desk. Well, sir, how did I do? Naruto asked. The principal looked over the test paper and smirked. You did quite well, an 85 out of 100. Welcome to Shinjuku High. Mr. Namikaze, you will be in classroom 5B. Come back next week Monday morning, seeing as how it's Friday, and you'll be fully instated as a student, the principal said. Naruto bowed. Arigato, sir, Naruto said, and then turned and left for home. Naruto walked along the street to his apartment, but then his stomach growled. Naruto thought for a while. Maybe I should go to the grocery and buy some food. Also, I need some clothes, and judging from what Fanglongman said to be back in the digital world, I should probably find a shop that sells modification cards so I can use them when Dorumon and I fight other Digimon, Naruto suggested. Naruto nodded to himself and went to the Shinjuku grocery store to buy some food. Meanwhile, with Dorumon was still sitting down watching the blank television screen with a cup of freshly made ramen in his claws. Now do I work this television thing? Dorumon wondered as he sipped some more of his ramen. Then the Digimon spied a small rectangular-shaped device on top the TV. Dorumon reached for it and looked at it. It was a remote, but of course Dorumon had no idea what that was, and he saw many buttons on the remote and stared at the big red one. What's this red button do? Dorumon said, sounding much like a blonde, blue-eyed girl from Dexter's laboratory. Dorumon pressed it and the television screen glowed white before changing to show colorful images. Dorumon stared in awe as he looked between the remote and the TV before smiling and pressed the red button again, turning it off. Then he pressed the red button to turn the television on. Dorumon continued doing this for a while until he accidentally hit the channel changing button on the remote, and he saw his picture on the television change. Ooh, Dorumon said in awe before continuing to press buttons on the remote. Back with Naruto. Naruto was walking along the road to the grocery store when he smelt something really delicious. He turned his head and saw a bakery shop. The sign above it said Makoto's Bakery. Dorumon might like some of those, Naruto said to himself before entering the bakery. Naruto took a deep breath as he inhaled the scent of bread, cake, and other goodies. Hi there, welcome to Makoto's Bakery, a brown-haired woman said. Naruto looked at the woman and saw a black-haired man standing next to her. They were both wearing baking aprons and hats. Must be her husband, Naruto thought. Hi, I'm Naruto. I was wondering if I could buy some bread, donuts, and some cupcakes, please. Naruto asked. Sure thing, Naruto, the woman said in a friendly tone. So are you the owners of this bakery? Naruto asked as he watched the man and woman get his order. Yes, I'm Mr. Takehiro Matsuki, and this here is Mrs. Maya Matsuki, my wife, and our son Takato is at school right now, so you won't see him until 3:30, Mr. Matsuki said. Naruto nodded. Maybe I'll stop by when he comes home, Naruto said. Well, here you are, Naruto, Mrs. Makoto said, handing him the bag. Naruto bowed and thanked her. Arigato, Mrs. Matsuki, Naruto said, and then walked out the door. What a nice boy, Mrs. Matsuki thought. Naruto walked along the road and saw a clothing store and then decided to use his cagemanshins to do the clothes shopping for him because right now he felt like going to the shop and buying the modification cards, so he looked around and saw many people walking on the streets. Phew, so I gotta find somewhere. Oh, that alley looks okay, Naruto thought, and then sneaked into the alley. Naruto looked around the alley because he knew from experience that there were sometimes gangs living in alleys, and as a child he had to avoid them or else risk getting stabbed or mugged. So when Naruto found there were no gangs living in the alley, he rested his bag from the bakery on the ground and quickly formed his hands into a cross. Kagebunshin no jutsu, he whispered, and then 3 clones formed in individual puffs of smoke. Naruto gave the bakery bag to one of his clones and then gave some money to his other 2 clones. Okay, you guys use the Henge no Jutsu, transformation jutsu, and go back to the apartment. But first, you 2 who I gave money to, go and buy me some clothes and make sure they are really cool, okay? And as for you, you go to the grocery and get some more food. Understood, Naruto commanded his clones. Hi, Naruto-sama, his clone said, and then used the Henge and transformed. The first clone changed into a brown-haired boy with dark green eyes, the second had black hair with a single blue highlight with reddish-brown eyes, and the final clone had fiery-colored hair and hazel-colored eyes. The clones then left the alley, and the one with red hair taking the bakery bag of goods before leaving. Naruto then stepped out of the alley and made sure no one really noticed his act, and then casually made his way to find a store with Digimon cards. As Naruto was walking, he saw a little boy standing by a shop window. Hey mom, look, they have new Digimon cards on sale. Can I have some please? The little boy begged. His mother chuckled, but then gave a harsh glare. No, not until you finally clean that pigsty you call a room, the boy's mother said. But Muam, the boy whined. Naruto chuckled as he saw the boy being dragged away by his mother before he got a sad look on his face. He should be happy he has his parents to look after him, Naruto thought with a sad smile before entering the store. He looked around the store and saw many things based on the Digimon franchise. Fanglongman was right, they really believe Digimon is just a franchise in this earth, Naruto mumbled to himself. He walked over to the counter and held out some money to the cashier, who was a young woman probably around 20 with brown hair and brown eyes and wore a Digimon t-shirt with a picture of a large orange dinosaur-like creature with a brown helmet with 2 long horns and had sharp teeth and blew out a large fireball from its mouth. A Greymon on it with ripped blue jeans. Hello, young man, how may I help you? The cashier asked with a friendly smile. Hello, Naruto looked at the woman's name tag. Mira, I was wondering if you tell me how much Digimon modification cards I can get for this amount of money, Naruto said, putting up his money at the desk. The woman counted the money and her eyes widened at the amount. Wow, you have enough money here to buy at least 4 complete decks, the clerk said with slight shock. Naruto smirked. Well, I'll take all the packs you can give me for that amount of money, Naruto said with his trademark foxy grin. The cashier nodded and then put all the money in the cash register before reaching to the Digimon card packs behind and gave Naruto at least 30 packs of cards, each pack holding around 12 cards. Naruto smiled and took the cards before asking the woman if he could get a bag for them. The female cashier nodded and handed Naruto a Digimon labeled bag in which she put all the cards in. Arigato Mira-chan, Naruto said, waving goodbye. No problem, the woman said, waving goodbye. That boy will get me a raise for sure, she thought, and went to tell her boss, who was in the back room. Naruto smirked as held the bag of Digimon cards and walked back to his apartment. He looked at the sky and stared a bit at the sun, and judging from its position he could tell it was around noon. Naruto then decided to break into a run so he could go back to his apartment and show Dorumon the cards he got. Naruto ran along the sidewalk and avoided the many people who were walking past him with the reflexive action only a shinobi could have before finally reaching his apartment in under 15 minutes. Naruto walked up the stairs and saw his clones, still under their transformations with the bags of food and clothes. Right, now then we open the door. Naruto took the key for the apartment out of his pocket and put it in the keyhole, turned the key, and opened the door and was greeted with a big surprise. There stood Dorumon, who was clicking away at the remote, and there was a wild look in the Digimon's eyes. Dorumon? Naruto asked. However, Dorumon seemed glued to the television screen and didn't hear Naruto call him. Naruto walked in front of Dorumon and waved his hand in front of his face before lightly slapping Dorumon in his face. Naruto frowned and then looked at his clones who had rested the bags of things on the kitchen counter. The clones dispelled themselves and Naruto felt his chakra return from his clones. Naruto sighed before forming hand signs. FUNN, Kamikaze no Jutsu, Wind Style. Holy Wind Jutsu, Naruto said, and then a powerful wind blew from Naruto's mouth and struck Dorumon, knocking the remote out of the Digimon's hand and sent him into the far wall, and thus knocking him out of his television trance. Whoa, what happened? I remember turning on the TV, and then it's all a blur, Dorumon said, shaking his head from side to side. You were caught in a major case of television hypnotism, Naruto said with a chuckle. You didn't even remember me just hitting you with a wind jutsu. Wind jutsu, Dorumon said, tilting his head to the side. Naruto nodded and formed a Kagebenshin. Jutsu are the techniques I use using an energy in my body called chakra. All living things have it, although since you're made of data, I'm not sure if you could do it, Naruto said. Dorumon nodded and then walked up to his tamer. So did you get any modification cards that we can use? Dorumon asked. Naruto nodded and held up the large bag of Digimon cards. Oh yeah, now let's open them so we can put them in my card holder, Naruto said. For the entire time, Naruto and Dorumon spent the time opening the packs of cards and looking through them before putting them in the card holder, which was on Naruto's waist along with his D-Arc. Digitus. After that, the young rookie-level Digimon spoke to his tamer. So why are you home so early? You said you wouldn't be home until 3:30 and right now it's Dorumon's turn to look at the clock. 12:45, the purple-furred dragon finished. Yeah, well, apparently the principal has to fully instate me into the school, so he said that I'll have to go back on Monday since it's the weekend now, and it makes no sense going during the middle of the school day, Naruto explained. Weekend? Dorumon asked. Naruto sighed, and throughout the next hour, Naruto explained the human lifestyle, which was similar to the ones that Digimon have, except without the weekends and no dangerous Digimon trying to download your data to get stronger to digivolve. Okay, I think I get it now, Dorumon said with a nod. Good, now then I need to tell about this guy I met at the school, apparently. But the blonde tamer didn't get to finish as Dorumon interrupted him. Whoa there, Naruto, I know you're a human, but when a guy like another guy ... that's just not right, Dorumon said. Naruto glared at his Digimon partner. I'm not gay. You diggy-baka, you didn't let me finish, Naruto yelled. Dorumon immediately shut up at seeing his tamer so angry. Now then, as I was saying, the guy I met at school, his name is Henry Wong, and he's a tamer just like me, Naruto informed the digital monster. Dorumon's eyes widened. Really, are you sure? Dorumon asked. Naruto nodded. I smelled the scent of a Digimon on him when he was walking past me. Awesome, so when do you think we can meet him? Dorumon asked. Later, but right now I have someone I want you to meet, Naruto said with his trademark foxy grin. Who? Dorumon asked with a perplexed tone, tilting his head to the side. Naruto channeled his chakra and flashed through hand signs. Ninpu, Omoi Heru no Jutsu, Ninja Art, Mind Entrance Jutsu, Naruto exclaimed. The world around both Digimon and Tamer began to swirl into a world of darkness before the two found themselves in a sewer complex with blue and red pipes running along the ceiling of the sewer. There were some purple-colored pipes too. Naruto and Dorumon looked at each other before the dragon Digimon spoke. Where are we? He asked, flapping his tiny black wings in a nervous manner. This Dorumon is my mind, now follow me. The person I want you to meet is down this hallway, Naruto said and turned to the left before walking. Dorumon looked around a while before running to catch up with Naruto, splashing water with every step. Your mind's a dump, dude, Dorumon said. Naruto's sweat dropped. Shut up. The two continued walking until Naruto stopped and turned to the left again, and then the two found themselves in a large empty space of Naruto's mind, and all that was visible were the bars of an extremely large cage, which had a small piece of paper where a lock should be that was marked with the kanji for seal. Dorumon stared in awe at the size of the cage before walking up to it. He peered through the bars, seeing nothing but darkness until a large bright crimson eyeball with a slitted vertical pupil opened up. Dorumon screamed in surprise and tumbled backwards, falling on his ass. Naruto chuckled along with a dark voice from inside the cage. Dorumon, meet Kyuyubi. Kyuyubi, this is Dorumon, my Digimon partner. Naruto introduced the demon to Digimon and vice versa. Dorumon could only stare in awe as he saw the eyeball rise in height, and he heard the sound of paws on ground and looked to see a giant red-furred fox with long 9 tails and black rings around the eyes and mouth. Sharp white teeth and claws that could rip flesh from bone was also shown as Kyuyubi stepped out into the dim light. Well, hello there, young Digimon, Kyuyubi said with a vulpine grin. Dorumon shook his and after getting over the initial shock looked from Naruto to Kyuyubi and back again. This thing has been living inside your head? Dorumon asked in surprise while pointing at Kyuyubi. I resent that comment of being referred to as a thing. Dorumon, I am merely a giant 9-tailed kitsune with an incredible healing factor and powers that could crush any mortal. That's all, Kyuyubi said as if it were an everyday thing, which it was. Dorumon's mouth gaped before he shut it close. Well, nice to meet you, Kyuyubi, Dorumon said uneasily. Oh, don't worry, I don't bite much, the giant kitsune said with a chuckle and snapped his jaws in a menacing manner. Kyuyubi then stopped laughing and looked at Naruto. So Kit, any reason why you have decided to come back into this place you call a mind? Kyuyubi asked his Jinchuriki. Hi, Dorumon, and I need some training, and I know that time passes faster in my mind than in the outside world. Naruto paused before continuing. Kyuyubi, what would be the current time exchange between 1 hour in the outside world to here? Naruto asked. The nine-tailed kitsune tapped its claw on the tiled sewer floor as it thought. I would say 1 hour in the real world would be equivalent to at least a year in here, give or take a few months. Of course, when you're bored out of your mind in a place where time seems to stand still, it's hard to keep track. But I would still say my calculation is correct also, since this is your mind and not your physical body. You will not age in here, but your mental self will, Kyuyubi replied. Naruto nodded before turning to Dorumon. Okay Dorumon, this is the plan. We train for an equivalent of 3 hours in the real world, which would be approximately 3 years of training in here, Naruto said. Wait, this is all so confusing. But let me get this straight. First of all, you have a giant nine-tailed kitsune living in your mind for my entire 13-year-old life, Naruto answered. Right, and now you've brought me into your mind because since time passes faster in here at a rate of 1 hour outside in the real world is equal to 1 year in here, you want us to do some training as Tamer and Digimon, correct? The purple-furred dragon asked. Naruto nodded. Precisely, Naruto said, confirming his Digimon's analysis. Dorumon smirked and rubbed his claws together. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to training, Dorumon exclaimed with an excited tone. Naruto smirked, and then with a snap of his fingers, his sewer-like mindscape changed into a desolate wasteland like back in the digital world. Only there was a giant Kyuyubi there watching them, as it was tied down by a large metal chain in which it was attached to a collar around the fox's neck with the kanji for seal on a dog tag. Okay, let's do this, Naruto thought. Then for that entire time inside the mindscape, Naruto and Dorumon trained, practicing collaboration moves between Dorumon's abilities with the Digimon modification cards and Naruto's jutsus. They also practiced with Dorumon's original fighting abilities, having Naruto spar with the Digimon and having Naruto and Kyuyubi teach him how to fight without the use of modification cards in case the situation revealed itself. Finally, they did mental simulations made by Naruto in which they battle varying types of Digimon from a training level to champion. Finally, their training had ended, with Dorumon improving by leap and bounds. Of course, he still couldn't digivolve since this was only done by the young rookie's mental self. However, his skills and experience from the training would be passed back to his physical body. Naruto had been taught more jutsus by Kyuyubi, and he had his taijutsu style fixed up so he could fight better in hand-to-hand combat. In the end of the training, 3 years had passed, but in reality it had only been 3 hours. Well Kit, this is all I can teach you. The elemental jutsus that you are able to use at this age are at your disposal. Just don't overdo it. Same goes for you, Dorumon, Kyuyubi said. Naruto and Dorumon nodded. Arigato, Kyuyubi-sensei, they said with a bow. Kyuyubi chuckled, and then a flash of light appeared in Naruto's and Dorumon's field of vision, and then they left Naruto's mindscape. Naruto and Dorumon woke up from returning to the real world and looked at the clock, which read 3:50. Alright Dorumon, let's go meet the other Tamers, Naruto said. However, as they were about to leave, their stomachs growled. What can I say? Like Tamer, like Digimon. But we should eat first, Dorumon suggested. Naruto then took out the goodies he got from the Makoto's bakery shop and ate them. Naruto then went into his room and walked over to his backpack and took out 2 scrolls. What are those, Naruto? The Digimon asked. The blonde shinobi Tamer smiled at his partner. These are letters from my deceased parents, Naruto said. Dorumon nodded and then left the room to wait on the couch. Naruto saw that the scrolls required blood to open, so he opened his father's first. Dear Naruto, if you are reading this, then you are probably old enough to know that I am your father, Minato Namikaze, Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. Naruto, I am very sorry for placing this burden the Kyuyubi into you, but I cannot use another family's child to hold the beast knowing that that child will be shunned. I know you might hate me for it, but it's the only way, and I know anyone can do a better job of being a Jinchuriki than my very own son. Remember Naruto, I love you and don't forget that. Love, your father. Naruto noticed the dark spots on certain parts of the scroll, and realized his father must have been crying writing the letter. I don't hate you, Aru-san. Father, I understand your decision, Naruto thought with a smile before opening his mother's letter. Hello there, my little Naruto-kun. First of all, I am so sorry that I cannot watch you grow up to see you become a strong shinobi like your father, and let me first explain the Kyuyubi attack. You see, I was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuyubi no Kitsune, after my predecessor who was also an Uzumaki. However, a female Jinchuriki's seal is weakest during childbirth. When I gave birth to you, Naruto-kun, I was attacked by a man named Madara Uchiha who ripped the Kyuyubi from my body. But due to my being an Uzumaki and our longevity of life and resilience was what kept me alive. your father and I loved you very much, and that is why we will sacrifice everything, even our lives, to make sure you survive this crisis, Naruto-kun. I love you, and don't forget that. Get a pretty girlfriend and have lots of grandchildren for me so that I can look over them from above. Ha ha ha. Naruto chuckled as he wiped away the tears from his face. That sounds like my Aka-chan. To tell me about grandchildren already, Naruto thought. Naruto then cried a bit more before wrapping up the scrolls. I'll learn the jutsus later. Anyways, time to go and see the other Tamers. Naruto walked out of his room and then attached his Digivice and card holder to his waist by a belt he had bought at the clothes shop, which was black with a buckle in the shape of an X in crimson to represent the X antibody. At least that's what Naruto felt it represented, a symbol of his Digimon's unique data code. Naruto then decided that in order to blend in more, he would change his sandals for the sneakers his clone had bought. Naruto slipped on some socks and a pair of orange and blue sneakers. Alright Dorumon, let's go. Roger that. Oh buddy, oh Tamer of mine. Streets of Shinjuku. Naruto and Dorumon walked along the streets, with many of the children from schools looking at Dorumon as he passed, still thinking he was a child in a costume, and many people wanted to touch him, but Naruto drove them away. So where's this bakery that you got all that yummy food, Naruto? Dorumon asked. The Makoto's bakery shop. Why you want to go see them ... or just the food? Naruto asked with a smirk at his Digimon. Dorumon blushed and mumbled, the food. Naruto chuckled and rubbed the head of his partner. Don't worry, we can go see them. But first let's take a stroll through the park first. Okay, I wanna get some fresh air, Naruto suggested. The purple dragon Digimon nodded. Yeah, sure thing, Dorumon said. The two then headed for Shinjuku Park. As the partners entered the park, they noticed nobody was there other than a few couples, but they were now leaving the park. And it was upon their arrival they saw a large white light appear from the middle of the park. The light shot up like a pillar from the ground, and then a field of digital pixels formed. Naruto and Dorumon hid behind a tree as they sensed a presence coming from the digital field. What's happening? The two said to each other. Hypno's headquarters. Sire, Mr. Yamaki, there's another bio-emergence, a young brown-haired woman said to a blonde man in a business suit and dark shades, while typing away at a keyboard. Okay then Riley, send a tracer and track it. The blonde man, identified as Mr. Yamaki, ordered to the woman identified as Riley. It's not you, sir. The wild one was too fast and the tracer couldn't make it in time, Riley reported. Yamaki played with the cigarette lighter he always kept on his person. Hey, this is getting out of hand, Yamaki mumbled to himself. Back with Naruto and Dorumon. Naruto and Dorumon watched through the fog of the digital field as a small green Digimon with a red mohawk, wearing a brown vest and pants and sporting a large wooden club in its hands, stepped out of the field. Naruto's D-arc then went off and Naruto took off his waist belt and then looked as a holographic image of the Digimon before him showed up, along with a description and list of the Digimon's attacks. Naruto read it over. Okay, this has never happened to my D-arc before, but apparently it says that the Digimon is Goblinman. Rookie level. He cheats a lot apparently and has a sly and hard personality along with having great pride in its mohawk. It knows attacks called Gobbly Bomb and Gobbly Strike, Naruto read. Dorumon looked at the Digimon and then at Naruto. So should we fight? Dorumon asked. Naruto smirked. However, his nose caught wind of another scent, a female as well as a Digimon. Naruto and Dorumon watched as another person walked through the digital field. It was a girl, around 11, with fiery colored hair, purple-gray colored eyes, and wore a white t-shirt with light blue sleeves and the image of a purple broken heart on the front, a pair of blue jeans which ended just below her knees and then had a red belt wrapped around her waist. The girl completed her outfit by wearing a pair of red, steel-tipped shoes and had 2 wristbands on its wrists. Next to the girl was a fox-like Digimon about as tall as a 17-year-old person, with icy blue eyes and with blonde fur, but the tip of the Digimon's ears, her paws, stomach area and neck, which was like collar of fur, along with the tip of the Digimon's tail, were white. Purple armbands that were stretched from the wrists to the elbows and were patterned with the yin-yang symbol on each one. Also 2 purple scar-like markings appeared underneath the fox Digimon's eyes, along with 2 Tomo-shaped markings on both of its legs completed the look. Apparently this Digimon is called Rasengan, which is a Digimon who is fiercely loyal to her tamer. They are strong and fast, sounds like a shinobi. Her attacks are Power Paw, Diamond Storm and Kohankyo, Naruto read from his Digivice. Well Naruto, it seems we're not going to be fighting today, so why don't we just watch the rookie take a shot at this guy, Dorumon suggested. Naruto took out a small scroll and unsealed it before revealing a bag of popcorn. This could be good, Naruto said as he took a few popcorn kernels and popped them into his mouth. The girl looked at her Digimon before turning to her Digimon, Rasengan. You ready, Rasengan? the girl asked. Rasengan nodded. Always, Rika, Rasengan said. Naruto looked at the girl, now known as Rika. Rika, nice name, she's kinda cute too, Naruto thought, taking some more popcorn. Goblinman turned to face Rasengan and issued a battle cry before running and tried to swing its club and hit Rasengan. Rasengan dodged the attack and then kicked the little green Digimon away into a tree, causing it to yelp in pain. Oh, did that hurt? Rasengan asked in mock caring. Goblinman growled before holding out its hand and a small ball of fire formed. Gobbly bomb. The goblin Digimon yelled and threw the orange ball of flame. The attack was avoided by Rasengan but nearly struck Naruto and DORUMON, who were still hiding in the bushes. Damn, that thing nearly hit us, Naruto said. Forget that. He burnt my popcorn, DORUMON said with anime tears coming down his face. Naruto's sweat dropped. We nearly get burnt and he thinks about popcorn, Naruto thought. Rasengan, after avoiding another gobbly bomb attack, tripped out Goblinman's feet from under him before kicking the Digimon upwards and then jumped to meet it in the air. Power paw. Rasengan yelled before her paw was shrouded in a ghostly blue-like flame and struck Goblinman in the face. Finish it, Rasengan, Rika said. Rasengan nodded, and while still in the air, the fox Digimon crossed her arms in front of herself. A bright white circle of energy formed before taking on the shape of diamond-like shards. Diamond Storm. The blonde-furred fox yelled before sending out the sharp diamond attack and struck the Goblinman, causing it to yell out in pain. However, somewhere in a nearby tree, a small little Digimon with white fur and large white ears trimmed with purple and then had big green eyes with the digital symbol for the 0 unit on its forehead stood and watched the fight. Alwa, is the game over? The young Digimon asked. Then the red triangle in the middle of the 0 unit symbol began to glow, and the down Goblinman was enveloped in white light before changing. Goblinman digivolved to Fugimon, a red Oni-looking creature with a tiger-striped loincloth to cover itself from the waist to just above its knees. The demon-looking champion-level Digimon stood with a silver-studded wristband that was worn on the entire forearm of the, and a large bone club was held at the Digimon's hands. Yay, the game's back. Kowloon is happy now, ha ha ha. The little white Digimon, identified itself as Kowloon, yelled in excitement. Seems he's digivolved into his champion form. Fugimon with the attack's evil hurricane and heavy stick, he's gonna be as tough as he is ugly, Naruto said, reading about the digivolved form of Goblinman. Well, DORUMON, it seems we should step in now, Naruto said. DORUMON smirked and the crimson triangle on DORUMON's head seemed to glow as he prepared to fight. Bring it on, DORUMON said. The two stepped out of the bushes and then heard the sounds of running footsteps. The 5, consisting of 2 Tamers and 3 Digimon, turned to see a boy with a brown hair and reddish-brown eyes, wearing a blue t-shirt and gray-colored pants that were a bit past the knee, and had green sneaker with yellow wristbands on his wrists, and a pair of goggles on his forehead. Naruto noticed the physical characteristics of the boy and put 2 and 2 together and realized this was the Matsuki's son, Takato. Next to the 11-year-old newcomer was a red dragon-like reptile Digimon with yellow eyes, wing-like ears, a long and strong tail, and carries the black digital hazard symbol on his chest. The Digimon seemed to be muscular, yet a little slender with big legs, perfect for fast running. On each of his strangely large hands, the Dino Digimon had paws and 3 fingers with long claws, and on each foot, he has 2 clawed toes and a claw coming out from the heel. One very indistinct feature of the Digimon Naruto was looking at were the stripes and triangle patterns on certain parts of his body. On its snout is a black, inverted version of the 0 unit. Never seen a Digimon like that before, DORUMON voiced Naruto thoughts as his D-Arc picked up no information on the dinosaur-looking Digimon. Then Naruto saw Henry Wunk, and on his shoulder was what looked like a mixed breed between a terrier dog and a rabbit. It had long ears and short limbs with many green markings on its body. No time to daydream, Naruto. Rasengan needs help, DORUMON said, pointing to Rasengan. Rasengan tried a diamond storm attack, but Fugimo spun his club like a windmill and blocked them all, jumping up and bringing the club down on Rasengan. Heavy swing. The Oni-looking Digimon yelled. Rasengan jumped out of the way, but Fugimon followed up really quickly and punched Rasengan in the snout before grabbing her and slamming her into the ground. However, as the 3 11-year-olds watched as Fugimon was about to hit Rasengan again, they turned at the sound of a cry of metal dash. DORUMON rocketed off at a very fast speed and Fugimon felt as if he had been hit with metal as he flew away from Rasengan. Rika, Takato, and Henry looked to see a 13-year-old boy with spiky blonde hair wearing a black t-shirt which had the picture of an orange scaled dragon on the front with orange flames along the bottom of the shirt, a pair of black cargo pants, blue and orange sneakers, and a black belt with a crimson X as the buckle. The boy was holding a bag of popcorn and munching happily. "Alright, let's finish this guy and go home," DORUMON Naruto yelled. Naruto. Henry asked. Henry, you know this guy? Takato asked. Yeah, he was applying to go to out school today, Henry said. Okay, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and I'm a Digimon tamer just like you guys. Now then Rika, I believe your name was. Naruto said to the redhead. Naruto smirked. Watch and learn. You too, Henry and Takato, Naruto said. Dorumon watched as Fugimon rose up off the ground. The champion level Digimon raced towards Dorumon and swung its club down. Heavy swing. But Dorumon smirked with confidence before twisting on his heel and avoided the attack. Hyper dash metal. Dorumon yelled before racing up along the length of the bone club and then slamming his head against Fugimon's face. Dino tooth. Dorumon then bit down on Fugimon's flesh, but Dorumon let go rather quickly and began to spit. Man, dude, you reek, do you ever bathe? Dorumon asked. Fugimon growled before spinning rapidly and then throwing his club. A black and red colored tornado formed around the club. Evil hurricane. The red-colored version of an Ogremon yelled. Dorumon looked at Naruto, who nodded to his Digimon. Naruto rested his popcorn bag on the ground and opened his card case. The whiskered blonde drew a card before holding his D-Arc and swiped the card. Digimodify speed activate. Naruto yelled. Dorumon then took off at a goddamn fast speed and avoided the attack before the club flew back into Fugimon's hands. Come on Naruto, stop showing off to the kiddies and let's finish this, Dorumon said with a smirk. Naruto chuckled and nodded before drawing another card. Digimodify power activate. Naruto yelled as he swiped the card through the slit on his D-Arc. Dorumon then felt a rush of power before running towards Fugimon. Hyper dash metal. The purple dragon-like Digimon yelled before running up to Fugimon and knocking the champion up into the air. Dorumon then opened his mouth and yelled his final attack. Metal cannon. Dorumon yelled and then multiple spheres of metal were launched from the rookie Digimon's mouth and slammed against the body of the champion level, and destroyed the Digimon and reduced to it to data. The digital field left and the three 11-year-olds looked at Naruto and Dorumon in amazement. What the was all Takato could say. Naruto turned and smiled to the others and saw Rasengan stand to her feet as she was on the ground watching the fight. Hey guys, Takato, your parents told me that you were going to Shinjuku High, but never mentioned you were a tamer, so what's your Digimon's name? Naruto said. His name is Gilman. I made him myself and he came to life when I swiped his picture through my Digivice, Takato said. Gilman looked at Takato and then at Naruto and Dorumon, who greeted them with a wave and a grin. Hello Naruto, Dorumon, Gilman said with a smile. He's young so he doesn't know the difference between Digimon and humans yet, Takato explained. Rika just glared at the blonde tamer. Henry, who's yours? Hold on, Naruto checked his D-Arc and checked the Digimon that Henry had and found out it was Tyrannomon. Naruto then turned to Rika, but he was stopped before he could say even one word. Listen here, Blondie, I didn't need your help. Rasengan could have handled herself, Rika said in a cold tone that reminded Naruto a bit of his former best friend, Sasuke. Well, I don't care what you think. I saw a Digimon in trouble and I wanted to help the Digimon, not you, Naruto said. Couldn't you at least thank us for saving your partner? Dorumon asked. What? Rasengan's just a Digimon, meaning that she is just data, nothing more, Rika said. Naruto glared at Rika with an icy cold stare. You really think that? Well, I think that Digimon are living creatures and deserve our respect and shouldn't be treated as just data. My friendship with Dorumon is what makes him strong. Isn't that right, Dorumon? Of course, Naruto, Dorumon said, folding his arms over his chest. Well then, why don't you back up your words and fight me now, Rika said. Naruto smirked and gave a come motion with his hand as he picked up his popcorn bag from the ground. Rasengan got up and then Rika and Naruto began to face off. Go Rasengan, Rika yelled. The fox-like rookie Digimon raced towards the dragon-like rookie and attacked with a power paw. But Dorumon just swiftly dodged all of them before firing a sphere of metal, signifying his use of metal shoot. Rasengan was thrown back, but skidded along the ground as she righted herself. Come on Rasengan, you have to better than that. You have to be the best, Rika ordered. Hi, Rika, Rasengan said and glared at Dorumon before jumping into the air. Rasengan crossed her arms in front of her face before a bright glow formed and light particles took on the shape of diamonds. Diamond Storm. The yellow-furred fox yelled. However, Tyrannomon decided to jump in and stop the fight, and the attack hit him. No Tyrannomon, you said you wouldn't do it, Tyrannomon. Henry yelled. Then a light appeared from Henry's green D-Arc. Digivolution. Tyrannomon digivolved to Gargomon. Tyrannomon was now much taller. His face and ears were entirely green, the edge of the ears and body and muzzle of Gargomon being a tan color. A red diamond lay in the center of the champion level's forehead. Two red slash-like markings were on Gargomon's cheeks. His hands were replaced with Gatling guns. A string of ammunition was strapped across the trigger Happy Bunny's chest and he wore a pair of navy blue jeans. That's Gargomon, Tyrannomon's champion form. He's skilled in the art of hunting and its attacks Gargo Laser and Bunny Pummel sound like they hurt, Naruto said as he read from his D-Arc. Naruto was about to have Dorumon fight the bunny with guns for hands when Gargomon started firing his Gargo Laser attack in a random out-of-control manner. It seems that maybe we won't have to. Naruto was interrupted. A bullet flew and scattered Naruto's popcorn everywhere. Dorumon and Naruto looked on his horror as they saw the popcorn fly from Naruto's hands. Naruto glared at the bunny and unleashed killer intent. No one, and I mean no one, touches my popcorn and lives. Naruto roared and then charged the trigger-happy bunny. Naruto, are you crazy? You can't fight a Digimon, Takato warned the blonde. Gargomon started firing at Naruto, but Naruto took out a kunai with an exploding note from the weapon's pouch he had behind his back and threw it. The kunai blew up in the large rabbit's face before Naruto jumped and punched Gargomon in his face. Naruto then channeled chakra into his arms and threw Gargomon into a tree before jumping and kicking Gargomon in the face. Naruto then repeatedly punched Gargomon in his face. Wow, was all the other Tamers and their Digimon could say. I guess I was wrong. You can fight a Digimon, Takato said before turning to Naruto's partner. So Dorumon, does he always do this for popcorn? Takato asked. Dorumon's sweat dropped. Actually, this is the first time I've seen him act like this, Dorumon said. When Naruto stopped, the energy from the Digivolution had worn out and Gargomon turned back into Taryamon. Momentai Naruto, Momentai, Taryamon yelled. Naruto stopped punching and looked to see Taryamon and chuckled slightly before helping wipe away the blood from Taryamon's burst lips. Gomen Nasai, Taryamon, Naruto said, but you hit my popcorn. Momentai, Naruto, Taryamon said before walking like a drunken sailor to Henry and fell to the ground. You should take anger management classes, Naruto, Henry said. Henry and Takato left to go and hide Gilman in the shed they had found earlier in the park since Takato couldn't keep Gilman at his home in the bakery, and thus left only Rika, Renamon, Naruto, and Dorumon were left staring at each other. You seem strong. Can your partner digivolve yet? Rika asked. Naruto looked down at his partner and smirked. Nope. What? So much power and he still can't digivolve into a champion level? Pathetic, Rika said. Yeah, well, says the one who didn't beat Fugamon, Naruto said. We could have handled it if you didn't butt in, you baka, Rika yelled. Naruto looked at Rika with a calculative gaze. Rika, about what you said, do you really believe that Digimon are just data? The blonde asked. The fiery-haired tomboy nodded. Yeah, Renamon is here to help me be the best and I expect nothing but the best from her. If she fails, she's weak and the only way to make her stronger is to absorb the data of strong Digimon and have her digivolve, Rika explained. Naruto nodded. I see, but think about this, Rika. If Digimon are just data, then why do they have feelings? Why does Renamon having the feeling to always care for you and protect you? Naruto asked. Rika's eyes widened at that question, but remained impassive. This is worthless psychobabble. I'm going home. Now go away, Whiskers, Rika said. Let's go, Renamon. Renamon nodded and walked away with Rika. Naruto and Dorumon smiled and waved to the two females. I love you too, Rika-chan, Naruto joked, but since Rika's back was turned to him he didn't see the blush on her face. The two partners then stared at each other with a serious look on their faces before nodding. If Taryamon and Goblinmon digivolve, the question is where is he? Naruto said. Dorumon nodded. The light of Digivolution, taking on a physical form, Calumon was nearby, Dorumon said. Unbeknown to the two partners, the white rabbit-looking Digimon, Calumon was hiding underneath a bush staring at Naruto and Dorumon with his big green eyes. I wonder why these weird Digimon are trying to find me. I've never seen Digimon like them before. Maybe they want to play a game. Calumon guessed and then crawled out from under the bush. Naruto and Dorumon turned and saw the white Digimon who bore the digital symbol for the 0 unit on his head. Hi there, little guy, what's your name? Naruto asked Calumon. I'm Calumon. I heard that you guys want to play a game, Calumon said. No, Calumon, listen, you're in dang, but Dorumon was interrupted as Calumon began laughing. Ha ha ha, let's play tag, Calumon said and then tagged Dorumon before his ears expanded and Calumon flew away. Naruto channeled chakra into his legs and grabbed Dorumon. Come on, we gotta catch that Digimon, Naruto yelled. Naruto, stop running so fast. Dorumon yelled. Naruto ignored his partner's cries and leapt upwards before throwing Dorumon. The purple dragon grabbed Calumon and the two Digimon fell to the ground. Gotcha, tag, you're it, game over, Dorumon said. Calumon frowned. Alwa, the game's over already. Calumon asked. Yes, but listen, Calumon, I'm Dorumon and this is Naruto. Calumon, you're in danger and Naruto and I are here to protect you, Dorumon explained. Calumon listened intently to Dorumon. Am I in trouble then, Dorumon? Calumon asked. Oh no, not at all, it's the bad Digimon that want to eat you, so we need you to stay with us for the time being, okay? Naruto answered. Calumon nodded and then Dorumon and Naruto rested Calumon on the ground and told Calumon to follow them. Okay, follow us Calumen, but as Calumen was following them, Calumen saw a pretty monarch butterfly fluttering by and Calumen giggled and gave chase and disappeared into the brush. Don't worry if you get bored Calumen, there's a lot of games we can play back at home. DORUMON turned when he heard none of Calumen's giggling and gasped as he saw no Calumen. Naruto, Calumen's gone. Nanny, you lost him already, but he was right behind us. Naruto yelled at his partner. My fault. Why is this suddenly my fault? Because you were holding him and then you let him go. The Tamer and his Digimon sighed. Ebon Woman wasn't kidding. 10 seconds and that Digimon disappears from you, Naruto thought. I'm starting to hate Calumen right now, DORUMON thought. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 2. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.